If you understand this concept, intuitive eating and healthy eating become a subconscious thought, and it becomes second nature to be able to grab something out of the fridge or the cupboard and make an easy meal, and knowing that you're getting enough protein by the end of the day. If you're the type of person that life gets busy and then suddenly you put on about 10 kilos, probably over the winter while you're wearing a jumper and you don't see, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to calculate how much protein your body exactly needs, and then we are going to run through some examples, how you would consider having breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. By the end of the day, you've hit your protein goal, you're full, you're satiated, and if you're that person that gets cravings and you get really hungry at night, that's a sign that you're not getting enough protein. And if you're getting really hungry at night, what are you eating? You're probably getting the sweet, salty, delicious, high caloric foods that over time, you're gonna put on a lot of weight. So first, let's calculate how much protein your body needs. We're not just gonna calculate 1.6 grams by your body weight. That is incorrect. I've seen so many people calculate protein wrong. We wanna calculate by your lean body mass. Picture yourself, for a male, probably 12 to 15% body fat. And if you're a female, probably aiming for that 20 to 25% body fat. Let's say you're 50 kilos overweight. Let's say you're a 120 kilo person and you would want to be around 80 kilos. You're going to calculate 80 kilos times 1.6. You got to think that you're supporting your muscle tissue, and the fat on your body is not really doing anything metabolically. For myself, I'm roughly sitting around 12 to 15% body fat. So I'm going to calculate from my current weight, which is around 80 kilos. 80 times 1.6 is 130 grams of protein. Now, everyone knows that answer of how much protein your body needs, but how can you subconsciously and intuitively grab something out of the fridge and the cupboard and knowing you're going to be hitting your protein goal by the end of the day? And this is what I call day of protein. You know what you're going to be eating for breakfast in terms of whether it's eggs, yogurt, or maybe a scoop of protein powder. We've got lunch. You can have a portion of, let's say, a can of tuna or a amount of chicken breast, but you have to know off the top of your head what your portion is for you. So now you're going to decide how many meals you're going to have per day. I would consider breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. So 130 divided by 4 is around 30 grams. So I want to be hitting around 30 grams of protein per meal. So that can look something like, if I'm going to have some low-fat Greek yogurt, I know I'm going to be eating around 250 to 300 grams. That's going to give me about 25-30 grams of protein. Lunch, I know my main portion of protein would either be something like lentils, and then for dinner, it could be something like beef or chicken. Now, you're probably thinking, lentils for lunch, is that going to be enough protein for you, Mike? So you gotta think of it like a superhero and a sidekick. With lentils, they're awesome. They're full of fiber, full of polyphenols. They're making me really full, but they're probably around 20 grams of protein for about 300 calories, which is about half a cup of dry lentils. That's how much I know I usually eat, but I know I gotta throw in a sidekick in there to bump up that protein amount. So you can think something like a low-fat dairy product, like 100 grams of cottage cheese, that will bump up to that 30 grams of protein. I might throw in some Parmesan cheese, or I might throw in some protein pasta. Now, this is going to be establishing a main meal. Now, this recipe comes out to 500 calories and about 26 grams of protein. Yeah, we're gonna bump up this meal. And how do you know how much meat do you roughly eat? Well, I portion out my meat. For example, I pre-package my meat in the amounts I usually eat. These are 200 gram portions. I have a kid, so he's usually gonna eat probably a quarter to half of this amount, whatever we're eating it with, whether it be a type of cheese or a pasta, or it's going to contribute to that total protein intake. I've actually cooked some lentils now, so I'll show you how I'm gonna build my bowl.
this nice little wrap, but I'm also gonna eat all this to the side.
So yeah, this is a huge meal, 800 calories. I think it calculates to about 40 grams of protein. So I knew I needed the main guy, the superhero, which is the lentils, and then I need a couple of sidekicks to boost up my protein to hit my minimum of 30 grams for a main meal. So I encourage you to subconsciously understand this concept. Know in your breakfast that you're usually eating, 2 to 4 eggs with some toast. So therefore, you're getting a healthy amount of protein for one meal. It could be something like a scoop of protein in a shake or a scoop of protein in some oats. It could be the low-fat Greek yogurt, and you knowing how much you eat. And I encourage you to weigh it once. If you're eating something like Greek yogurt, it might be hard at first to know how much 250, 200 or 300 grams of Greek yogurt is. But once you learn and you weigh it a few times and you see how much the portion is, when life gets crazy and you have no time to think about food, you can just pour it into a bowl and you're roughly hitting that amount. Eating just so it becomes super easy. And then I know dinner time can be the hardest for most. And if you just can grab something out of the freezer, the pre-packaged frozen meat makes life easy. Know how much protein your body needs, know how much protein that you would need per serving, and know what to intuitively eat, whether it's going to be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or a snack. I really hope you learned something in this video, guys, and definitely check out the link. I've written 8 examples. There's vegetarian, if you're a vegetarian, there's vegan options, pescatarian, omnivore. Get those ideas of what quality protein there is. Start building some healthy meals subconsciously, all right? I'm Mike, I'm an accredited nutritionist. I'll see you guys in the next video.